You're listening to the Super League Pod. It's the first week of the season and we'll be bringing you our thoughts on how the weekend Super League action is going to pan out. Plus, we'll have your feedback, news from around the world of rugby league in a week where the sport seems to have gone completely batshit, and we'll be officially unveiling our new features, SLP Recommends and Tom's Poll. So sit back and get ready for your podcast. This is the Super League Pod. Alright, week one of the season, Mark. Welcome along to Super League Pod. How's it going?
Good, yeah. I'm excited to predict some Wigan victories and the normal sort of stuff. Get some slaps on the back from the listeners. Roll through a few news stories. Standard fodder. Speaking
of slaps on the back, considering what I said about St Helens last week, very little. No. I didn't see any kind of comeback.
We didn't get nothing from none of the fans.
No.
Yet last week's episode was, I believe, the most listened to episode of the Super League Pod.
Of the year.
Of the Super League Pod.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're gaining traction in the heartlands and
which
beyond.
Is great to
it's fantastic to be able to report, isn't it?
A few of those people have stuck around for this week, and we'll get a good flavour of how to get in touch with the show, and we're wanting to hear from those people because it's good. It's good to see. A few more likes on Facebook, a few more... a big jump in followers on Twitter. We're nearly at 2,500 followers, which is good. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
we're all very pleased. Yeah, and
good week.
In the spirit of kind of developing and keeping the podcast fresh and current, we alluded to it in the intro. A couple of new features that we're going to be bringing out, aren't we?
Yeah, you're going to unveil your.
I'm going to be unveiling. We've done this a couple of times, but I'll be getting my poll out, and then towards the end of the show, I
can't wait to see what you get your poll into this week.
SLP Recommends. I've already had some ideas about where I'll be sticking my poll this week, Mark.
Is that true?
Yes, it is very true. Right,
not in any sort of dogs or.
No, I'm gonna avoid the temptation to simulate sex acts on a small dog this week, as we should all do. I think.
Yeah.
You know, it's
sensible behaviour not to.
Sensible not to. I'm just not sure that people need reminding of that. That's not something that I recommend. I think that people have, been forgetting. I think most of the time people are clever enough to remember not to pretend to fuck a dog.
Well, we'll see in the news.
Yes, we will. Well, first of all, let's talk about the World Club Challenge, because it's round the corner and it's an exciting opportunity in a lot of ways for a lot of things, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's our three top clubs this time around, and we're kind of expecting to get at least one or two victories out of it, but it's also the three top clubs from down under from last season, so it's really this is the series really lighting up, you would say. I definitely think that it's going to be a great series, and the British teams will win something. We'll preview it properly in two episodes time?
2 episodes time, yes.
But so we're going to be at all three games.
We are.
The Friday night game is at St Helens. There's not going to be able to be an arranged meet-up at that game because it's just...
It's very quick after work, isn't it, for people, and we'll be sort of rushing a touch.
Basically, we won't have time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we will be in the away end, so if anyone's got tickets for what is nominally the away end at St Helens, then come find us in that stand or in the pie queue beforehand.
Absolutely.
And say hello. Then on the Saturday, we will be in Wigan for Wigan-Brisbane round 3 of historic 4. I don't know,
5,
second of the modern era.
Yeah.
And we'll probably maybe do a little bit of knocking around Wigan town centre sort of.
The plan is to get there in advance of the game so that we can be in Wigan Central, isn't it? Yeah,
so we like Wigan Central underneath the railway arches. There's also, is it called the Anvil near the bus station, and there's the Weatherspoons if a few more people want to turn up. But at the moment, it's more interest is on the meeting up on the Sunday at Leeds. But in Wigan, we'll probably be in one of the pubs.
Yes.
And you can get in touch with us. We might move around a little bit.
Yeah.
Because keep things fresh.
We've got our phones on us, and we'll put some concrete stuff out there in a week or two's time once we know a bit more about.
Yeah. That'll be the drinking one.
Yes, it will. That's the one that we're both getting the train to, isn't it?
Yeah. And then on the Sunday, the big one, the World Club Challenge, we will be at Headingley Stadium, and we will be in the Original Oak, which is a large pub near the ground, and I'm
sure most of our Leeds fans listeners will know it.
Yeah, it's on Otley Road, so it's probably quite well known to supporters, and so we'll be in there from about 5 to 5:30 for an hour and a half or so until say 45 minutes before kick-off, and we'll go and try and find a space to stand on the open terrace.
That's it.
Thrilling.
Fantastic, yeah.
What do you think to the Leeds Stadium part I'm talking about?
Do you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I actually feel quite sorry for them.
I don't like the South Stand idea.
North Stand is fine. There's nothing wrong with the North Stand. That needs modernising and it looks okay. Yeah. The seating in the South Stand... It actually
looks really good. I like the banqueting suites where you can see through both sides and all that. That's
exactly.
really cool.
It'll serve a purpose. It'll work for both sides of the ground. That's brilliant. I like it. It does need modernising. The South Stand, I can genuinely see why Leeds fans are up in arms about that, because I do think the atmosphere... I've stood in the South Stand for a nominal early round Challenge Cup fixture about 8 years ago when I was working with the kids up in the Lake District, and the noise in there is sensational. It's a great place to watch rugby league. It's fantastic. It's definitely going to lose something if they go ahead with the plans that they've got to kind of have a bit of terracing at the front and then some seats.
I think so. It looks too open for my feeling.
You'll lose some of that atmosphere, that noise. I think there needs to be another look at that. Definitely, and I can see why Leeds fans are up in arms about it, and there's quite a significant amount of them being vocal on. I mean,
obviously, the South Stand does need to be knocked down and rebuilt. It's had parts of it condemned a number of times in the last decade. It needs to be rebuilt.
But retain that roof, retain that atmosphere. Understand what you're building it for.
Yeah.
It just seems like there's not been a great deal of consultation done from...
It just looks too open.
From the architect who's done it.
It looks too open. So I'm sure it'll get revised and scaled down. But that was an aside. Yeah, the original oak from around about 5 to half 5.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll be in there till about 7 or 7:15.
Yeah. And if you're on the other side of the world and you're a Leeds fan like Wilco, then please point your dad in our direction, because we've been made up to meet, the father of... Yes, exactly. The progeny of one of our most valued listeners.
If you go into either the Wigan game or the Leeds game,
get in touch and we'll meet for a beer.
We know exactly where and when we're going to be in Leeds, and Wigan. It's going to be a bit more of a fun fair.
It did. Okay, so who got in touch with us after last week's enormous show?
Well, lots of backslapping around. Plenty of familiar names, a couple of newer names on us, but we'll go with Chris McEwen first.
Well, to give it his, pronounce it correctly, Chris McKeown.
Chris McEwen.
Thank you.
So he says, it's good to hear that the word attitudinally has returned with you. That and shoeing always bring a smile.
I think we have to work hard to get them in like as little Easter eggs into the show every week now.
Is it a made up? Have we made up attitudinally, or is it
attitudinally? I first heard the first person I've ever heard use the word was you. And my immediate instinct was, that's a fucking great word. I'm using that. And I have been using it with gay abandon. No one's picked me up on it yet. But it might not be a word now that we talk about it and sort of look at it written down. I mean, the question I would ask to Chris to confirm it was, when he typed it into the tweet, did it come up with?
Well, maybe you spelled it wrong. We don't know. We just say it.
Yeah, that's it. It could be an Americanized way of spelling it, perhaps.
But,
and then shoeing is one of mine, isn't it? I think I tend to. Yeah. Okay.
Al Witt's got in touch. Super League Pod is back and even more excited for the start of the season now. # good times.
Good times indeed, Al.
Yeah, Al's a Huddersfield fan, isn't he, Al? Is he? I think. We don't hear from many of them, so get in touch every week, Al, this year. Come on.
To be fair, we hear from about 5% of their average home game each week, don't we?
Don't say that. They won't get in touch. they kind of... They are. They
tell you who hasn't been in touch yet, and I'm a little bit annoyed. Marie Wright. If you're out there listening, Marie...
Oh, she didn't get any predictions in.
Get your finger out. Get on Twitter.
Shocking.
Step up, lady.
London Faithful said, great opening episode of Series 3 of the Super League Pod.
Thank you very much.
Langers, who at this moment is an FC supporter, is his name on Twitter.
That's a pretty poor one, and he's normally got some good...
For Langers, I think that's a bit... Yeah.
He's phoned it in a bit for me, that.
Yeah, a bit obvious.
Yeah. My favourite was it just Sweet Lagers?
Yeah.
That's been my favourite.
He said, keeping the bar high on the first part of the season, Hull to steamroll with the new pack, thumbs up.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Brian Davies said, Mark on Super League Pod says Scott Griggs, in quote marks, no longer top calibre. He asks, no longer?
Yeah.
Question mark?
I think, that's a point.
Look, he had one really great game one year at the start of the season.
Which singles him out as a top calibre player.
No, he's not, though, is he? If he ever was, he certainly isn't anymore.
Fair enough.
We don't think. John Dix said, well, that was defo worth giving up 2 hours and 33 minutes of my life. Great stuff. Now really excited for the start of the season. Mm-hmm. Andy Barker said, a great listen, highly recommended for any rugby league fans. Dar Garner, our friend over in the Emerald Isle, said, didn't realise, what's his new name? King Dingaling.
Yeah, you can't just make up your own fucking title for winning some, Darren.
King Dingaling, anyway.
Well, I know I refuse to do it.
Didn't realise I never won Super Brew, but was gifted it by another. Open mouth.
Shocked face.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Hashtag sour grapes are lovely. Good to have you back, lads. Yeah, talking about Super Brew.
Yes.
We're all up this year with the Predictions League.
Even I've got involved this year.
It's good to see.
But I was looking at
and some new people have got involved as well, people who I don't really know.
Well, Sean's tweet from earlier today, Sean Bruiser, who set it up very kindly in our name, was saying that they've got 3 times more people involved in it than they did last season.
At least now.
Yeah.
But I'd say probably 4 or 5 times more.
Yeah.
There was only 5 or 6 of us last year. So a few people that I'm not familiar with and some of the legends of the show. Paul Bamford and Bri Bamford, they're new ones on me. So
those are Bulls fans that got in touch via Facebook.
They are Bulls fans, are they?
Yes, I believe so.
Well, get in touch more regularly anyway, boys. Good to have you on board. Andy Barden, obviously the Electric Gigolo, legend of the fold. Wild Bill's Ghost. David Cairns is a new one. Alan Kerr, we all know Alan, Shoddy and Mungo. Edward Courtney, he's a London Broncos fan, isn't he? I think we've ran into Edward a couple of times. Paul Michael Craig. David Dillon's a new one. Tom Eckley, he's a
stalwart.
He's been around. He was involved last year in the league. Alfie Garnett, which is Dar Garner's alias. King Dingaling to his friends. Ian Gatwood. Rod Hutchinson. Alex Jewett, Scott Lister, Brendan Loftus, Mark McCartney, that's a new name on me, Chris McEwen, Paul O'Brien, Sean Orton, he's the man who set it up, Bruiser himself, Lee Pennington, Bob Phillips, Colin Render, Oliver Smith, Timothy van der Merwe and Elliot Wrench are all in there, and a few other people are hanging around the periphery. We've got Richard Ashworth, who's the Wigan fan who lives out there in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or that area. Bam's Bar, Mark Butler, Tyler Cass fan, yourself, Marshall Fletcher, that's a new one on me, Martin L, Stefan LaRue, don't know if he's any relative to the musician, Paul...
What, the musician of 8 years ago?
LaRue. Paul Lewis, that's Ludo.
Do you remember when we were at Leeds Festival, right?
Craig Malson, Ben Murphy, Sam Pennington, Willows Road, Stephen Simpson and Henry Taylor are all in there. Willows Road trying to join twice. We're not having that, lad.
No, you can't play twice, kid.
But go on, tell your Leeds Festival story.
No, it was just about, because that was when LaRue was famous, wasn't it? About sort of circa 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
And she was in doing a little bit of gig, and all I could hear was loads of people chanting, LaRue, LaRue, LaRue is on fire. And I just remember feeling a bit sad for her. That she kind of was, I don't know, it just seemed
I don't remember watching her at all, was I there?
No, we were walking past it. You and I were walking past it. It was when we were talking to each other outside Friendly Fires.
Oh, yeah.
And then the opposite side, they were there. Great.
That was better.
I keep bringing some of these pearls up as the podcast goes on.
Good stuff.
Really pepper it with, good stories. So
the Super Brew League is there. If you go to superbrew.com, search for Super League Pod, or go into the Super League ones and then find our league. Within that, you can request to join, and we will accept all and sundry.
Yes. Now we're going to talk about the Dream Team as well. That we've got the Dream Team League going as well, haven't we?
Oh, yeah, well, that's right. Let's do that too. Yes, that's a good idea.
Exactly. So we've been tweeting and Facebooking out details for how you can join us in our Super League Dream Team competition. It's the one that's been run at sldreamteam.co.uk. Seems like it's the official, well-sponsored one. You can enter up to 3 teams into the competition. There's a lot of people in it so far. Mark, do you want
lot of people have 3 teams going as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can join on the pin 9689, password SLP123, but check our Twitter and Facebook for those details.
Yeah, lots of people that listen to the podcast involved with this one. Bob Phillips, John Dix, Ben Murphy, Rich Langley, Paul O'Brien, Rod Hutchinson, Ollie Smith, John Dix, Alan Cale again, another Mark Illingworth, another John Dix, Tom Eckley, Rich Langley, Andy Barden, Elliot Wrench, Thomas Mannion, who I've seen before, Scott Lister, who's got 3 teams in there, Tyler Cass fan, whose mum and dad are only allowed him on the internet for long enough to put 1 team in, and James Woods, who's been in touch with us before. Bob Phillips has got a couple of teams in there this year as well, and you've gone with 3, and so have I, Mark.
Yeah, we've had some new people. Well, Liam Reddington, he's always been involved in.
I'm going to get to him at the end. He's a bit professional, Liam.
I think he only came 3rd or 4th maybe last year. Bob was 2nd. The winner from last year, Max Corcoran, was it?
Max Corcoran.
He's not involved from what I can see. We've got Ben Murphy, who's gets in touch occasionally, Witness fan. We've got a few Saints fans, Abigail Marsden, and
it's good to see. Stephen Bowie,
Johnny Loudon, Hull FC fan. We've got in there. So a few new names, which is good to see.
Yeah,
David Blackburn, who's a Leeds fan.